Well, it's great to be here to kick off the 2014 season. We have graduated a lot of players and a lot of people that had big production in the program, and have 8 newcomers to fill in. And we'll find out as the season progresses how they do at filling in the large gaps that have been left. So I think we've had a learning preseason. I think some people have improved from previous years, and a lot of it's going to rest on how the youngsters, make their move into college volleyball.
Can you talk a little bit more about that loss of production? Are you concerned with where the production will come from now, or is it kind of just figured out as it goes?
No, I mean it's not like I didn't know they were leaving. So, you enjoy great players when they're here, and you hope that the players that come after them respect the tradition and work hard to make those same sacrifices and contributions. So, I'm not sure exactly where the offense will come from. I don't think we have anyone that'll have the production that Katie Slay had as a blocker, or Deja had as a back row player. But every team is different, and the key to coaching is trying to get the players to play well together and try to make your team relevant. So that's what our plan would be.
The cycle you've kind of been on the last few years is you had a big recruiting class and then several small ones. Does that make it difficult to have a big recruiting class every 4 years to break everyone in?
I think it's always different. You want to bring in players that you think are right for the program. So I think the players that we have right now are nice kids. They like each other, and they would say they're working as hard as they possibly can, and I say they're working. So once we start playing, I think they'll have a little better handle, especially the young ones, on what it takes to be successful in the Big Ten. I don't really look at the rankings as meaning anything, but certainly I know how good the conference is, and the quality of the players and the coaches, and how tough the venues are, and the older players, especially the ones that are here who have been in the conference for 2 and 3 years previously. They have a much better handle on it than the young people. So a lot of the success will be based on how not only we prepare those kids to play, but get them to really understand how hard it is to play against good teams both home and away.
Dom, you've been through this a few times, so how strange is it to have so many new faces in the gym?
I think it's different because we were with Deja and Katie and Ariel for so long, but it's nice to have fresh new faces in the gym that are excited to be there and to work hard. So I think preseason went really well, and they're working hard, and we're all working hard to get better. So I really enjoy having the 8 new freshmen that we have.
Dominique, including you, there's 9 defensive specialists altogether on the roster. It's almost half the team. What does that do for you in terms of support, people to bounce ideas off of? Is that a help to you?
I believe so, because 6 people play, so if you're not necessarily in that drill at that time, they can offer feedback standing on the sidelines, or maybe something you didn't see at that point in time. So I think it can be beneficial for having so many defensive specialists, just for feedback purposes.
That's an awful lot of back row players, though, that's for sure. Would you like some?
How tough is that on you, having so many back row players and trying to find a place for them?
I care about good back row players, all right? I care about the people that can play and help us win. The other ones, if they can't make the contribution that we need, then that's going to be on them, not me. And we practice 4 days a week. We play twice a week. They have opportunities to demonstrate that they should be in the rotation if, in fact, they can do that. We need some players to play. Obviously, Dom plays a major role. Lacey's played a major role. Those things won't change. But we need a couple of the other players to find something that they can do. And I wouldn't say preseason has given me the confidence that that's happening at this point.
And then Megan, you'll be kind of the go-to primary, one of the primary offensive weapons. That's kind of a newer role. I mean, you had a lot of production last year. Is that something that you're comfortable with, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing different. I wouldn't say, because our freshman class is so good and they're studs basically. So it's not anything different for me. I need to perform well like I always have been. So it's not any more weight on my shoulder. I would say. I'd just say, if I play well, then everyone else will play well, and that's what I can do, is just make the team better.
Nia, you guys are defending national champs, but with so many new faces and so much change, does it feel like you're defending national champs?
I mean, I wouldn't say you can go into the next year thinking that you're national champions. I mean, obviously we were, but it's a completely different team this year, so we have to work like we're not, because we're not.
And then, you know, for any of the players kind of off a similar idea, none of you have come off of the national championship into a new season. Do you expect any kind of hangover, you know, trying to, you know, get back into the swing of the conference schedule?
I mean, I think we know that conference is tough. Every match you have to be prepared for. No one's going to be an easy game or give away games. So I think we understand that, and we're trying to instill that in the younger players. And no, like Nia said, you start off the season completely new. We won it last year, but that means nothing this year. We're going to work to hopefully try and be successful again, but we know that that's going to be a lot of work.
Russ, how are you doing finding starters so far?
Well, I mean, I think half of the starting lineup is the part that's returning. Yeah, I mean, I think Micah and Nia and Megan have clearly kept their spots, and the other spots have been impacted by injury and inconsistency, but there are certainly glimmers of hope. I mean, the players that are here because they want to be here, and I think all of them can make contributions. But it's hard to say right now who would be the starting lineup, and I'm sure who starts in August, I'd be stunned if that's the same collection of people starting in September and October, and I hope it's a battle all the time. That at least would be enjoyable to me. But you know, I would say half the, you know, I mean, 5 people in the rotation. Lacey, Dom, and the 3 returning older people are the ones that are for sure in the mix. But, you know, so it looks like we're going to start a couple of young, you know, we might start up to 3 freshmen. So, but it's hard to start them when they're not playing or they're, you know, not cleared to play right now. So, you know, we'll just, we're going to have a, you know, I see the schedules written down here, so we'll play this weekend, and then we'll play the next weekend, and we'll play hopefully for 17 weekends. That's always the goal. So.
And Dom, talking about, you know, you lost a lot of players, not only in terms of production, but also leadership. What does the leadership of the team look like at this point?
I think, you know, a lot relies on the older girls. So Nia, myself, Micah, Megan, Lacey, you know, the people that have been around. Have to instill what we can in the younger players, and, you know, just every day in practices has to be reminders of what needs to get done, how it's the best way for it to get done. But yeah, we did lose a lot of leadership, of course, you know, people that were go-to hitters or just dependable players, but that comes along with a lot of practice and trust in your teammates, so that'll come.
Megan, are you anticipating the season, at least the early weeks of the season, maybe a little rocky?
I would say yes and no. I mean, with new people, I mean, I played when I was a freshman, so I know sometimes your head gets a little clustered. So maybe their heads will get clustered, but it's our job as older people to make sure that they just maintain a positive mindset, and then they just go for it and be aggressive. So, I mean, they're freshmen, they make mistakes, we all make mistakes. So it's a matter of how we come off of those mistakes and learn from them, and just prepare for the next point and not dwell on the past, because they are young, and I mean, like I said before, we all make mistakes, so it's a matter of how we turn those mistakes into good points. So I think we'll be all right.
Russ, any of the freshmen who stood out to you who have pretty good potential to be starting Friday night?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, Ali Franti's is a terrific talent, and I think Simone's been playing really well, and you know, there's battles going on at all the positions, but you know, a lot of it's impacted by who's cleared for practice that day. So, you know, you can only play who's eligible to play. But you know, I think all of the net players have showed some talent and potential. You know, I saw it in most of them when I recruited them, and you know, I have a whole new staff too, so it's a whole new situation. You know, everything has changed, so there's a lot of balls in the air right now.
Coach, do you plan on using this weekend with 3 matches kind of as a way to get a better feel of how the team is, you know, meshing together and get a feel of starting lineups?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Yeah, I would think, and then it could go for a couple of weeks. You know, and you don't want to be doing that when you're playing. You know, you're playing your competitive season, and you know you've got so many strong matches. You don't want to risk losing matches while you're trying to figure something out, because you don't get it back later. But you know, it's clear that we don't have a starting lineup. I'm sure of that. So what I might want to do and what I have to do could be 2 different things.
Yeah, after, you know, the preseason, do you feel match ready at this point?
I think so. I mean, you always want to get better, so I'm gonna still use this week to get ready for the games and just continue to get better as the season progresses.
When they're out there, do you like the way the freshmen are competing in practice?
We've had some rallies where I thought we looked pretty good, and we've had a lot of rallies where, you know, there's just a big cloud hovering over a couple of them that have no idea what's going on. So that takes time, and unfortunately, the better the teams you play, the less time you have to react, because they're good and they're efficient and they get the ball back on you pretty fast. So I think the speed of the game is what's the biggest transition for younger players. And then once they get into conference, I think the physical nature of how strong the conference is and how tough it is to compete both home and on the road. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? This is it's the season. It's time to go. You know, we'll play the people that are healthy to play, and you know, the expectations don't change. It's always the same. You know, I want to have the best team we can possibly have, and I'm not shy to tell these people what I think they need to do to be better, and you know, and that's the relationship that we have. They tell me what they think, I tell them what I think, and we go from there.
Megan, we talked a lot earlier about, you know, expectations and pressure for the season. Do you have, you know, realistic expectations for what you know, see this season playing out as?
I think everyone would agree that if you come to Penn State, you have an expectation to win the conference, but not only that, but also have a chance to win the national championship. And I think everyone on the team, coaching staff, players, all agree with me when I say that it's an expectation to go back to the Final Four, but we all know that it's not just given to us because we won last year or we were there the past 2 years we made it to the Final Four. I think it's what we do in the gym that's going to do the talking, and I think that the expectation is definitely there, but we can't just say it. We have to back it up with what we do too.